201 came out. But time will
Good
tell.
morning. Welcome to pollen season. The car was yellow this morning.
Morning, Fox.
It's March 10th. This is our regular city council meeting day. We have a workshop from 9 till 10. Thank you all for being here today. I will remind myself to turn my own phone off. How's that? There we go. Up first on the agenda, we're hearing from Jimmy Staten, the CEO of Santee Cooper. Mr. Staten, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Crua, and it's great to see the entire council again. Thank you for having me today. I do want to talk a little bit about one of my favorite subjects, and that's the people of Santee Cooper and the great stuff that they do every day. Just a little bit about Santee Cooper to start with, though. We are the state-owned electric and water utility, and what that means is we are owned by the state. Our shareholders are the people of South Carolina. We do not pay dividends to other shareholders. Our dividends are in the form of reliable and affordable service. We provide, along with Central and the cooperatives in the state, we serve about 2 million people across all of South Carolina. And again, our bills, because of the structure of Santee Cooper, our bills are generally anywhere from 7 to about 15% below the other utilities in the state. And we are, this says in the top 10% of reliability. We're actually in the top 10 of reliability in the entire country. South Carolina, as you all know, I do not have to tell Myrtle Beach about what growth means, because you all are experiencing it like crazy, but so are we. People are coming to South Carolina, and we are having to address all of that growth as rapidly as we can, just like you all are having to adapt to the growth that's happening across the state. We do that with a pretty wide swath, or a big variety portfolio of generation resources around the state. We have a couple of natural gas plants, one of them up in Cherokee County, the other one up in Anderson County. We are a third owner of VC Summer, which is a nuclear facility outside of Columbia, and we have 2 very large coal plants, one right outside of Moncks Corner, the other one in Georgetown. And so while we have a pretty broad portfolio, we also bring in landfill gas and use that to generate electricity. We utilize some of the forest products to generate electricity, and then very importantly, we have solar around the entirety of our system. So again, a fairly broad portfolio of resources, but we are still heavily reliant on coal. And there's nothing wrong with coal from my perspective. It's a wonderful resource, but eventually we have to continue to add to that portfolio in order to continue to serve the growth here in South Carolina. And so that is what this slide depicts. Santee Cooper is very focused on bringing new resources to the table. And so at our Rainey facility, we're going to be adding about 250 megawatts, and we'll talk about how we're doing that. It's a pretty cool process, though. We're actually adding a turbine between 2 combustion turbines that already exist there. So we can get about another 250 megawatts without having to use any more natural gas. So it's a wonderful resource for us. Up at Wynya, we're going to be putting in 2 combustion turbines. As I said, we have a coal plant up right outside of Georgetown. That's the Wynya plant. On that site, we're going to be putting 2 combustion turbines. That's going to give us another 100 megawatts. And then right outside of Moncks Corner, we have a hydro facility. We're going to be adding about 300 megawatts of batteries there. That's going to be an important resource for us in order to ensure that we can continue to deliver on the peak. That will be the largest battery storage in South Carolina when we get it built. So by the early part of 2028, Santee Cooper will have brought about 650 megawatts of new capacity to the table. Just to give you an idea, that's enough power to serve about 500,000 homes, nearly 500,000 homes. On the longer term, we've got to continue to meet the additional growth that we see coming to the state. So we are partnering with Dominion at what we call Kennedys for another natural gas plant. That's going to be 2,200 megawatts, so it's a big plant for us. But we will be splitting that with Santee Cooper. I'm sorry, with Dominion. And then the last one for us is, I indicated we're a third owner in a nuclear plant right now. Santee Cooper, as you all know, most of the state realizes we shut down the development of VC Summer 2 and 3. We maintain those facilities. We are now partnering with a company called Brookfield Asset Management. They will actually construct VC Summer 2 and 3. Santee Cooper will not have to contribute any more dollars at all. And at FID, when we're ready to, FID is final investment decision, Santee Cooper will receive about $2.7 billion. We'll be able to use that money to lower rates to other customers. We will also retain 25% of that facility, and so we will be able to actually generate electricity with the dollars that we've already spent at VC Summer. So we're excited about that opportunity. All of the projects I just described combine state-of-the-art technologies to ensure that we are lessening our environmental footprint, taking advantage of local resources, particularly where pre-existing facilities were in place. That gives us a great tax advantage. That tax advantage can then be passed through to customers in the form of lower rates. And it enables us to utilize existing infrastructure, so we don't have to go out. That gives us speed. In addition to dollars, that gives us speed because we don't have to do a lot of land prep. The land is already ready for what we're focused on. The other aspect of our business is we do directly energize homes and businesses, particularly in Horry, Georgetown, and Berkeley counties. And we do that, and we recognize that there are challenges, that a lot of folks face challenges. We've got rising costs across the country, rising costs for every product, including rising costs for electricity. And so we offer a number of items to help folks address their energy usage. We offer rebates to incentivize energy efficiency. We have home programs. We have businesses. Our EV initiatives are designed to move people off of the peak and have them charge overnight. We have our customer service app provides a great deal of information that 5 years ago we would not have been able to provide customers, but now we're able to provide that to them today. We have a Power Partners program. That's for income qualified folks that do not necessarily have the resources to take advantage of energy efficiency opportunities. Santee Cooper pays to create those opportunities for those folks. And then the last program that we have is our Community Cares programs. We partner with some other folks, businesses around the state. Customers also have the opportunity to increase their bills by $1, whatever they would like to do, round up, so that we can help those folks that are extremely challenged in being able to pay their electric bills. Now, there has been we've made some changes to the way that we charge as we go forward. This was supposed to be animated. That's why I paused for a second. But I wanted to take you through. We are focused on the peak. We instituted in our last rate change, we instituted what we call a peak charge. And that was something new for everybody. And we realized that not everyone necessarily understands why the importance of that. And so I would point you to, if you look at the left, that green area that's the usage on our system on what we think of as a typical winter day. The lines down at the bottom, that's the cost of that energy on that day. So our system average cost is less than $50 a megawatt on those days. On the right-hand side, that's what happens when we experience peaks on the system, which we did in January of this year, and that peak was about 200 megawatts than anything we had experienced before. And so, as you can see on this chart, the peak is sustained. It's much higher than it is on a typical day. And you can see there that the price of electricity, instead of being somewhere in the $50 range, is something closer to $1,500 a megawatt. And so the focus that we have, the reason that we introduced a demand charge is to send a price signal to our customers that reflects the market that we are experiencing. And quite frankly, it gives customers an opportunity to address their energy use on the peak. So that's what we instituted an $8 peak charge. The price of the energy, so there's a peak charge and then there's actually what you use, that went down about 34%. We have had a number of customers that have lowered their overall bill, but what's more important for us, the peak that we experienced in January was about 25 to 50 megawatts lower than it otherwise would have been. And so that saves all of our customers money. And so that was again, the purpose of it was to send that price signal, and quite frankly, customers have responded to that price signal. As I indicated earlier, rates, we continue to have to address challenges of inflation just like everyone else. Our rates are designed only on our cost to serve customers, plus the coverage of our debt. We don't increase rates for specific issues or for specific projects, but we are in the process right now of analyzing where we stand and whether we need to do anything different as we enter into 2027. And we are continuing to work with our customers, to hear from our customers, and to offer new programs to help those customers utilize their services the best way that they can. Then the last area that Santee Cooper focuses very hard on is ensuring that we help South Carolina continue to thrive. From an economic development perspective, we helped land about $2.7 billion in capital investment across the state and nearly 2,000 jobs. That's something that Santee Cooper is very proud of. We helped with Oceancraft Marine at the Bucksport Marine Park. That was locally, it was $11 million capital investment and 93 jobs. And then last year, we transferred the Granger station to the city of Conway so that they could utilize that property. And again, it's been restored back to the wetlands that you would expect for it to be. It's going to be a great resource for the folks in Conway, and quite frankly, we think for the entire area. We work with the Horry County Schools. We contribute about $120,000 for classroom programming, teacher education. Our community outreach, our team, I mentioned earlier, I'm proud of our team. Our team doesn't just serve our customers, they serve our communities as well. 36,000 hours. That's almost 3 full work days for every team member at Santee Cooper for community service. And the kind folks at the Myrtle Beach Chamber gave us the Community Impact Award for 2025. And then more locally, we continue with lighting upgrades, moving everything to LED lighting. We continue to work with our cities, our communities, in undergrounding resources. One of the reasons we have some of the highest reliability in the country is because of the work that we've been able to do collaboratively to further underground. And we are working with the city to redesign our oil plant substation to accommodate the 2 stormwater ponds. And so we're happy to be doing that. And then the last area is we continue to work with the city and will on your smart city initiatives or any other initiatives that Myrtle Beach undertakes. And that concludes my formal presentation. I would love to take any questions that anyone might have.
Thank you, Mr. Staten, for coming today. I'm sure we've got some questions here. One of the projects you left off was the Grand Strand Humane Society's groundbreaking, which was yesterday. Santee Cooper helped provide the land under which the new Grand Strand Humane Society will exist, and we broke ground on that yesterday. I've worked as a volunteer with Santee Cooper employees back when we were doing the Palmetto Regional Robotics Tournament for 10 years, and Santee Cooper's folks were outstanding.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can't say enough nice things about the contributions that Santee Cooper's folks have made along the way.
I appreciate that. They are a wonderful team.
They truly are. We've talked, your staff and I, and our staff have talked about a couple of ideas that the city would like for you to consider at the end of the day. So we'll see how that goes. From the peak demand point of view, I will say that I was initially concerned when I read my power bill and saw that one of the charges was much higher than the other. But I've tracked it over the months since Santee Cooper implemented the peak demand, and I think my bill is flat or maybe down a couple of dollars. Granted, I am conscious about not running a major appliance during the peak demand hours, which is 3 hours either in the morning or the evening, depending upon what season it is. But it has not been the dramatic increase that I originally expected or that some of the folks are projecting or experiencing out there. So I've been very pleased with that. And if it helps cut the overall peak demand, the amount of electricity that Santee Cooper has to generate, it does mean that it will keep our rates lower at the end of the day, too. So thank you for that.
I appreciate you defeating the peak and helping us defeat the peak.
Again, I was hesitant. I saved my bills for the first several months and looked at the charges, and the peak charge was, in many cases, half the total bill. And yet, at the end of the day, the total bill was either flat or down a couple of bucks. So it wasn't as alarming as I thought originally. So.
And I think just to, I think a lot of folks, not everyone, but a lot of folks are seeing that as well. And we encouraged our team, and again, we have a wonderful customer service team, that we did give forgiveness for those folks, particularly early on in the program, that said, hey, look, I didn't understand it. I wasn't paying attention to it. I just did. And so I think we were hopefully able to smooth some of that transition for folks.
Council?
Mayor, I've got one or two comments, if I could. I think what we're most concerned, and thank you for coming, Mr. Dayton. Of course. What we as a body are most concerned with, of course, are the rate that our customers, our constituents pay, along with your ability to generate. And there's a lot of, let's say there's a lot of ground that's been covered since the Base Load Review Act of 0809. And some of us were here then. And you appear to be, I take it with private input, moving past this into retooling VC Summer. Again, that is a long-term plan, I would think. Midterm, I would be guessing it would be the gas generation plants that really are actively being discussed. But near term, I think we're concerned too with the hyperscalers, the data center type scenarios. Are those folks, are they going to be self-contained with power and water? Are they going to input energy from outside? Just very broadly, because I know you're a busy man, but we'd like to know where we're going with regard to. Well,
it's a great comment and question. Let me start with VC Summer 2 and 3. We're in the feasibility study timeframe right now. That will end in about 18 months. That's when FID should happen. So I'm hopeful in the next 2 years we'll be able to reduce rates because of the cash inflow that we will get at that point. You're absolutely right, though. The generation from that won't hit us until probably the mid-2030s. And so there's a lot of consternation around the state and around the country about hyperscalers and their impact on rates. For Santee Cooper to date, there has been actually a calming effect on our rates. They're actually a little bit lower than they otherwise would have been, but that's at the early stages of this. And so the Santee Cooper board approved last year a rate, a tariff, if you will, that requires hyperscalers to pay for all of the costs associated with redoing the grid to accommodate them, and they also have to pay all of the costs associated at the top end, if you will, of the energy stack. So if we're having to build something or bring in capacity, they have to pay for that incremental cost, so that our customers, the remaining customers on our system, the residential, commercial customers, are not impacted by the hyperscalers. I will tell you, though, I think we are seeing hyperscalers have identified this. Their customers are our customers, and they're recognizing that it doesn't do them any good to drive up cost to everyone else. And so they're generally, we have found them, to date at least, we have found them willing to pay more than their fair share in order to not negatively impact rates for customers. And again, so I think there's a balance we can craft there. And so we're working on that.
Well, you seem to be ahead of it. And one last question, excuse me, Dr. Connie. Who is our representative? It used to be at one time Mr. Springs and Myrtle's Inlet and Dr. Molnar, David Singleton. I can't, do we presently have one?
I thought Dave Singleton was the perpetual, because no, he's the only one Dave's the only one I've had since I've been at Santa
He still
Cooper.
may
But
be.
Dave Singleton is, but there has been a transition going on on Santee Cooper's board, and so I would expect that David, like all of the other board members, about 2/3 of the board has turned over in the last 3 years, and so I would expect to see that happen. But currently, Dave Singleton is our representative, and I would encourage you, if you've got a concern, talk to him. No, I'm just kidding. If you want to praise us, I'll be happy to.
Is Mr. Pat Howe coming on? I've heard that name.
He has been nominated.
What an excellent choice.
To do that. You have to, as you know, the governor nominates.
Right.
The Senate has to approve them, and the Senate has not yet done that. But we would welcome Mr. Howe to the board.
So I wanted to follow up on the data center piece, because I've noticed the legislation, and what are your thoughts on the legislation currently at the State House regarding that? And are you supporting that, or do you feel like it's needed?
I think we need I don't think it's a terrible thing that we are kind of tempering and ensuring that where we place these folks and what type of equipment they're utilizing. I think some rules need to be established around that. There are water concerns in communities about the massive amount of water that a hyperscaler can use, but there are closed loop systems for cooling that you could utilize. And so if you're bringing that kind of technology, it's probably a little bit easier to land wherever you would like. But if you are using water-cooled technology, then you probably should be placed someplace that makes more sense, quite frankly. And then, obviously, from my perspective, the grid, there are locations where we probably have a little bit more capability than others. So until we get the grid redefined, I think having some structure around it is not a bad idea.
That's great. Well, I'll just say I was able to participate in the Envoy program last year, and getting to go and see all of the power plants, and how it's impressive to me how your folks take care of the plants and how they're reimagining how to use them. And so basically recycling more power that's coming out of the stacks and things like that. So, and you don't say anything about the great work that your folks do in regards to the environment and the ecosystem, et cetera. And that's a lot of work that takes place as well that you don't ever really get a lot of credit for. So.
Right. The team does a wonderful job. I mentioned earlier the CTs, combustion turbines that we're putting at Wynya. Mm-hmm. We're actually placing those at the site of an ash pond that we have completely taken all of the ash out of that area, completely cleaned it back up to the kind of standards you would expect, and that's where we're putting these. So again, the opportunity to clean up and to maintain the environmental stewardship that Santee Cooper holds dearly. I'm proud. I'm really proud of the team for everything they do.
And I think it's important for folks to know that if a business or even a resident has issues still with their, electric bill being too high, that you've got folks that can come in and talk to them and help them mitigate how they can change that.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. We have payment programs. Again, we help folks find, if they need help, we help them find that help. We have payment programs in place. Again, if you ever had the opportunity to talk to one of our customer service representatives, you would fully appreciate they get the highest scores in customer satisfaction because of that work.
Council?
I didn't have any questions. They were already answered, but thank you for coming today and briefing us.
Thank you.
I don't know that you said it directly, Jimmy, but the peak rate demand was designed to be revenue neutral. You lowered the regular rates and increased the peak rate so that it didn't generate any extra money for Santee Cooper, but that it reduced the overall electricity demand.
It has reduced. We're trying to put a dollar figure to that right now, how we would value that 25 to 50 megawatts, but it's in the millions of dollars of savings that, again, everyone is going to get the value from.
Super. Thank you again very much, Jimmy Staten from Santee Cooper and Tracy Vreeland from Santee Cooper too. It's good to see you, Tracy. So,
thank you all. Appreciate what y'all do.
thank you. Up next, we have Meredith Denary and Brian Garrett for a website update, please. While they're coming forward, I will say that Mike Louder had an issue at work today and probably won't make the meeting. He may be able to come in later, but he's got a minor crisis that he's dealing with at work at the moment.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a rather brief update. We have narrowed it down to 2 vendors, but we understand that council wanted the opportunity to talk about the city's future website and also voice some suggestions and opinions of things that you would like to see. So here we go. The biggest thing about the city's new website is that we're going to be consolidating all of the city's current websites that we have so that we are quite literally a one-stop shop. It's all going to be the same or similar design. This is everything from the city's main site to the police department, the fire department, Convention Center, Myrtle Beach Boardwalk, downtown Myrtle Beach. It's all going to be in one place. You'll be able to use the current URLs for the police department, for example. It will still take you will use that URL and then it will redirect you to the new site. The design will all be similar. There might be some color variations. The police department, you might see black and blues. The fire department, you'll still maintain the reds that you typically see with the fire department. It will look like you might be going to a different site, but it will all be housed on the same place. You're good? Okay. Okay. We all know I can talk. So, and our Parks Department, that might be one of our, the behemoths of this project, so to speak, because there's a third party, they use Rec Plus, that there's so much sign up going on with the Parks Department. Ryan Caputo, who's currently over the website for PRST, played a big part in choosing our vendor and going through that process. So it was really important along the way that everyone had a say as we went. Before we began this process, we sent a survey out to all the department heads who could also send it to their necessary supervisors and things so that staff had some input to make sure that we included what they needed in our RFP that went out in December. So we did do that ahead of time. And right now we are at the stage we're choosing between 2 vendors. So within the next week or so, we should be able to talk about who we chose. As I already said, we're going to be bringing all of the city websites together. Our biggest thing that Brian will talk about in a second is we are going to change the URL. So In the future, once our URL is changed to myrtlebeach.gov, which Brian did a lot of work to go ahead and get secured, it is ready to go. It is ours. Our future website will be myrtlebeach.gov. It was also a big deal that we were able to not use myrtlebeachsc.gov. We actually had to prove that we are the one and only Myrtle Beach in the United States. People don't think of another Myrtle Beach. So Brian was able to jump some hurdles there and get that done. So that was a really exciting part, making it easier for our customers to get to our website, making it more accessible to just type in Myrtle Beach and it takes you right where you need to go. That .gov ending is also a big deal over .com, .org, whatever, and Brian will talk about that in a second. When we do design the new website, the biggest takeaways are things are going to be easier to find. One of the things that we really want to have a home run on is being able to get somewhere with just a few clicks. It doesn't take you 8 clicks to go somewhere. Things aren't buried on 10 different pages. It really is a one-stop shop, and to be able to, in a well-organized website, find where you want to go. So you'll see on there, we want it to be easier to read, understand, and write. As I already touched on, same website, just different pages. We're also going to enhance the search performance. And the biggest thing about bringing all of our websites and all of our teams together is we are one organization and we really need to speak with one voice.
So I think she pretty much covered everything with the .gov. Obviously, the most important things with the .gov is it is secured. .govs are issued by CISA, which is controlled by Homeland Security. So you obviously have to talk to Homeland Security to get a .gov. They're tightly controlled. They're only given out to government agencies or municipalities. With that comes enhanced security. They can't be spoofed. I think all of you guys have seen it. You get a URL that maybe like cityofmyrtlebeach.com, but somebody misspelled Myrtle. So it looks legitimate to you. You click on it, all of a sudden you're in a world of hurt, and you have to call IT. You see the .gov at the end, you know it's correct. It can't be spoofed. They're not giving out those addresses to anybody else without being verified. So obviously you've got the impersonation protection, and it's a cohesive branding as myrtlebeach.gov. So you covered everything else. Do what? Oh, yes. Also, the email addresses will switch. All the email addresses current will still work. It's not like we're flipping over. You got to call everybody and say, hey, this is my new email address. When they email the old email address, it will automatically flip over. You'll respond as a myrtlebeach.gov email address. So it should be fairly painless to everybody. Like I said, it'll automatically update in Outlook for most people when they receive the new thing. There'll be a header on the emails that say, hey, by the way, we've moved to a new domain to help get that message out to everybody that you're communicating with.
That's great, because I know sometimes people are afraid to answer my emails because they see .com. They think it's a spoof. So, yeah.
Any questions?
Council?
We're not done yet, but any questions as we go along?
I'll wait.
You'll wait? All right, that sounds good. So when we have the new website, this is just kind of a high-level, brief example of some of the new offerings that you can look forward to. I think one of the biggest things that our team of, what do we have, 7 people that went through the procurement process is we wanted it to be totally custom. One thing we hear a lot from council, we've heard from the mayor, is making things fun, bringing back the fun. And we want it to stand out. So I think that the vendor that we're going to end up going with is really going to be able to deliver on that. We're talking custom graphics, specialty graphics that you don't necessarily see with your typical municipal website. That's really going to be able to make the Myrtle Beach website experience unique and special and something that will draw people to come back. In addition to just being able to use it like a normal person. Like, this shouldn't be rocket science to find what you're looking for. So totally custom layout, a staff directory. One of the biggest complaints we get, understandably so, is not a great calendar. So instead of having to go to a PDF that's on the visitors page, we're talking about just a usable calendar on the home page where the user will be able to see what's coming up for that month. They'll be able to go to the next month and see what's coming up. And we can also work with our friends over at the chamber to include even more events than we already have by some sort of process where people can submit an event and we can approve it to make sure it's legit, so that we're really making sure that we're covering all things that are going on in Myrtle Beach. Modernized layout. I know one thing that my team is super excited about are the abilities to do banners and things. We have invested in some really great equipment in the communications department, and one of those biggest assets that we have is our drone. We've been able to capture beautiful imagery of the city of Myrtle Beach, our neighborhoods, our projects, and this is the perfect place to be able to showcase that and things that the city is spending money on that's making life better for our residents and improving that quality of life in general. And we're actually getting to that time as we get in spring and summer. That's our top time to gather that content to be able to showcase on the website. Another big thing, of course, ADA compliance for, as Brian, we talked about yesterday, a town under 50,000. Our deadline is April 2027 to make sure that everything is ADA compliant, so we still have some time. I think we'll be definitely completed ahead of schedule to make sure that we meet those WCAG requirements. So that's a big checkbox that we just have to do. We have to spend the money and get it done. Interactive maps, automated forms to make things easier. One of the biggest things that I get calls on in the communications department are bike maps and pedestrian-friendly maps. There's a lot of ability to provide great maps, interactive maps in the year 2026, and that's something that we're really going to capitalize with this website. And Brian's team is very well versed in Esri. I think we'll talk more about that down the road as we keep going through this project, but there's some really great maps that you're able to create through that. And again, this is just improving the user experience. AI help tools and search. We're talking AI chatbots on this one. Some of you may remember when I first gave the website presentation, I think it was the end of April 2024, we talked about Myrtle the turtle. So I've already been working with Horry County Schools, and we're planning to do a competition within the Myrtle Beach school system to create a Myrtle the turtle chatbot. We're looking at the beginning of next school year. They're a little busy. They're looking forward to summer about right now. So that will be coming up next year. The timing will fit well, and then whichever vendor we choose will tell us, the exact needs and things for that creation. But we're really excited to partner with Horry County Schools, and also will help raise awareness with turtles, what to do with our sea turtles and things. Alert messaging and announcements, we'll be able to have banners, and it'll tag into our regroup system. Again, social media sharing, just overall better organization. This includes agendas and minutes to make things easier to find and linked. Content scheduling so that things actually disappear. One of the issues we have with our current site is our pages that we need to go away don't go away. So if they weren't dated X amount of years ago, some of those pages are still floating out there. So people think this was created in the year 2026 when it was actually 2018. And we've actually, in the past, even when Mark was in my position too, we've worked to try to get those pages deleted, and it is a hard thing to do. Right, Mark? Yep. Yes. So the biggest thing with this is Brian's team's going to be able to go in, and when we get rid of this site, that will all go away, so we won't have to deal with a big part of misinformation that's been floating around for 10 years, because that's how old our current site is. Multilingual support, that's a biggie, and also integration capabilities, and that's Brian's cup of tea if he wants to talk more about that one.
I'll hold off on that for a little bit.
Any questions?
I've got a comment for you. The feedback I get, and I'm enthused about this, first of all, from residents specifically, and it has to do with usability, and you've talked about, so we don't have to 8 clicks to get to where you should get to in one or two. A suggestion for you, though, and you probably already thought about this, is that at some point, let's get resident feedback, because they are one of our major users. So let's get resident feedback. I hear from the north end, the middle of the city, all the way down to the Market Common about, well, this website is easier for me to use than your site. You're already focusing on that. And I think, I guess you mentioned it, you don't want it to be rocket science to it's got to be simple to use. And while we just heard from Santee Cooper how much we're growing and the state is growing, how much we are growing has a lot to do with retirees. And many times, for them to be able to use it effectively, it does need to be we need to hear from them as to what they would like to see. So a suggestion is, at some point in time, let's see if we can involve the community with a little bit of input. And also, when you do that, it helps them buy in. It makes them feel like they've had their say, and they're also helping us to develop the site. So that would be my comment for you.
Yes, well, I do invite you to this next slide where we do talk about input sessions, which means in-person and survey style and discovery meetings. And so you were just one slide ahead of me, and they will include resident feedback. So we'll work with our vendor. Those, I think, would be more the surveys would be more resident-driven in order to get more feedback versus in-person sessions. And when it comes to city staff, we'd be leaning towards those in-person sessions. So each department, no matter its size, really feels heard and that this website will meet their needs.
Perfect.
Awesome. So we hope to award it this week. We are working through a few things. The timeline, we are looking at up to 9 months. This is not a overnight process, so we will ask for patience during this, and we have to get it right. And I think that's it.
So I'm thinking with the integration piece, and you said online forms. I know we've talked a lot about process, so I'm suspecting that with this integration, that some forms that people have to download, complete, and either send in, that those processes can be automated using this website.
Yeah, correct. I mean, that's pretty much our ultimate goal, that all services are online and available online, either online or offline. We've been slowly working towards that goal through our Infor project. We've moved hospitality and business license payments online. We're working on utility billing, and then we will keep compounding from there to move everything to online services. So.
Also, will there be a capability of if somebody wants to report a pothole or report a line break, water break, whatever, will there be any type of place on there that you can do that, maybe?
I mean, I don't think we have anything in the works currently, but we're ready to present. I'll let you take that.
Yeah, we actually do have a place on our current website in the Public Works Department to report an issue or a service request. And I think, again, that just kind of falls into things of it takes 4+ clicks to get there, so it's harder to find. So yes, and we did a lot of exploration of other municipalities to see what their websites offer, and there are options. You can't overwhelm it because then it's too overwhelming, but you could put 6 to 8 icons, and one of them could be service request. And then once you click that, there'd be a list of potholes. And the forms would be automated. That was one of the things when we went through the interview process, one of the vendors spoke about were to create forms. And then I'm thinking kind of simpler things other than utility billing, like special events, for example, versus having to print the form off and fill it out and scan it back in and email it, where it's an automated form that we can create, and with the click of a button, it goes directly to the person. So special events would go to Troy, potholes would go to our public works supervisors, things like that, where these processes are just much easier, and especially because we have an updated, what's the GovStack, CMS system, content management system to work with.
Okay, thank you.
Myrtle, let me ask you this one. You're talking about online forums, and I deal with a lot of family reunions, people planning family reunions. A lot of times people plan them for 2 years out and more, or, as soon as they go to one and, okay, we're going to Myrtle Beach. And does our system allow you to come in and fill out an application, even though the sign-up time might not be until, say, 14 months out?
Are you talking about fill out an application
Yeah.
for a gazebo or something that you would reserve it?
To rent a facility.
To rent a
Mary
facility.
Canty or Robert Reed or one of those facilities. A train depot, yeah.
Yes, there's currently, it's on the PRST website because it falls under them to rent a recreation facility. But that certainly, I think that our opportunities are kind of limitless, so to speak. And this is the opportunity where we can change things. So I'm writing notes and I will write that down.
Okay.
a form to rent an automated form to rent the recreation
I
facility.
think there's an automated form now to do it, but sometime our window don't open until, say, 14 months out from your date.
Oh, okay.
So I guess what I'm saying, if somebody come in 16 months out and, hey, but is there a way to let me know that, hey, your date is open, or now is the time to click and pay your deposit or whatever? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I don't, and one of the most popular facilities to rent would be Robert Reed, and David Gleaton's over that. So I wouldn't want to speak for him because I'm not over the facility rental, but I can check with him and shoot you an email. I mean, I'm sure that's something that we could work out.
Okay. Train Depot is hard to get into.
And Train Depot, yeah.
Meredith, curiously, for those of us that revere Alexander Graham Bell still, is there a phone number we can call for a pothole? I'm Philip Rendell.
918-2000.
And
Right,
where,
Janet?
and where does that go, though? How long does it take to get does a real person, that's a switchboard, is it not?
The 2000 number?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It goes.
It's a telephone tree.
I've never called it, so I
It's a
don't.
telephone tree.
Oh, okay. Yes, it is automated, but it will get to somebody because they have a 24, it's people checking, especially on the weekends and things. It turns into a 24/7 line.
All right.
Anybody else? You'll keep a constant email address that the info address is helpful in terms of reporting potholes, reporting issues. I have to say that I wasn't a big fan originally of eliminating the .com, but if you've got myrtlebeach.gov, I don't think I can argue with that. I think that's a pretty good solution at the end of the day. And then congratulations on being able to bring all of the different city departments under one email address, under one URL. Tried to do that for decades and could not do that, so.
We appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of working together.
So are we still going to keep the cityofmyrtlebeach.com tied up?
Yes, we'll keep it
Okay.
basically forever. And
Okay.
at some point, I'm sure 10, 15 years down the line, we'll look at it and we'll be like, hey, nobody has gone to this address in a year. Probably time to get rid of it at that point, but yeah.
Yeah, we don't want somebody to hijack the,
Yeah,
the
we'll
.com
keep
we've
it-
already got.
Don't get rid of
We'll
it.
basically keep every URL that we currently have. We'll just redirect them all to myrtlebeach.gov.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got about 12 minutes here before the start of the meeting. Council, are there any issues that y'all want to talk about here in the last 12 minutes before the regular meeting starts? None heard, so we'll take a 12-minute break. Thank you.
I'm gonna restate that.
That's why I said, yeah, I sent it back to you, so that was the first I heard it.
That's why Randall's here.
Good morning.
Hey, the gavel.
It is 10:01. We're a minute
I have to
late.
stand up.
Nice to see a big crowd here today. Welcome, everybody, to our March 10th, 2026 Myrtle Beach City Council meeting. Councilman Louder is dealing with an issue at work and will not be here now. He may be able to come in later in the meeting, but he's not here at the moment and sends his regrets for not being here today. Again, thank you all for arriving. We would ask that you silence your cell phones. And I believe here to start things off, we need to have our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Chestnut, if you'll please rise.
If you wish, you may join City Council in standing for a moment of silent invocation. Almighty God, creator and sustainer of all that is or will ever be, accept our profound gratitude for this day and its blessings of life and freedom. And Father, we thank you and pray that you continue to bless our first responders who make it possible that we might continue to enjoy the life and freedom of our blessed city. Father, we also pray a special blessing upon our chief as she retired from many years of dedicated service, and continue to bless her and her family as she goes on to retirement. And Father, we pray that you render our service of an enduring value and varied expressions of faith and civic duty and respect for all. We gather today to render our public service in a proper manner and perform our civic duty in good order. Therefore, we solemnly invoke divine wisdom and guidance in this day's meeting. Amen.
Again, good morning, welcome. We have a motion for the approval of the agenda. Any changes?
Yes, sir. Mayor, I'd like to move Resolution R 2026-5 out of the consent agenda, move it to the regular agenda with an amendment that it will be the appointing of a committee member to the Grand Strand Area Transportation Study Policy Committee and an alternate.
Thank you. Any other amendments to the agenda? Do we need a motion to amend the agenda? Is there a motion to make the amendment that, well, that's the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilman Chestnut, second. Any comments from council? Any comments from the public? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now, is there a motion to approve the amended agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Render and Debbie Connor. Any comments from council? Any comments from the public? All those in favor of the agenda as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, approval of minutes. We have two sets of minutes before us. The February 24th regular city council meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Jackie and Mike, Any comments? Any comments from the public? All those in favor of the agenda minutes as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then we have the minutes from the March 3rd City Council workshop, which are before us. Do we have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Jackie?
Okay.
Any comments from council? Any comments from the public? All those in favor of the March 3rd workshop agenda minutes as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have a significant number of proclamations this morning. The first one is to recognize March 15th through 21st as National Safe Place Week. Meredith?
Susan Whitaker should be here today, and I would invite her down to please accept the proclamation. All right, National Safe Place Week, March 15th through 21st, 2026. Whereas every young person deserves a safe and supportive environment in which to thrive, and our community dedication to ensuring the well-being of our youth. Whereas Sea Haven for Youth has been a beacon of hope for young people in crisis, serving as the designated safe place agency for Horry County and providing immediate help and supportive services to youth in need. And whereas National Safe Place Week is a time to raise awareness about the importance of safe and accessible resources for youth facing homelessness, abuse, neglect, or other crises. And whereas safe place locations in Myrtle Beach include the Myrtle Beach Fire Department, Helping Hand, and Pepper Gettings Recreation Center. Now therefore be it proclaimed that Myrtle Beach City Council hereby proclaims the week of March 15th through 21st, 2026 as National Safe Place Week and extends gratitude to Sea Haven for Youth for making our city safer for young people and for protecting and empowering the youth in our community. Signed and sealed this 10th day of March, 2026.
Good morning. I'm Susan with Sea Haven for Youth. Thank you for having us here today and giving us this proclamation. Sea Haven has been a safe place agency, the only one in Horry County since 2009. We have some of our safe place partners here in the room today, the fire department, police department, United Way. And we are excited that you have given us this today for making the 15th through the 21st National Safe Place Week here in Myrtle Beach. We'd like to invite all of you to come out and join us on the 21st at Broadway at the beach for our second annual walk. That ends our Safe Place Week. Registration for the walk starts at 8 a.m. and the walk goes until 10. It is free of charge to come out and show your support for the youth and young adults that we serve here in the community, and we'd love to have you guys come and join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Susan, last night, Dr. Connor and I actually went to the fundraiser at Bistro 90.
Yes.
And the energy that was in that room last night, and all the hearts just opening up, and y'all do a phenomenal job. You really do.
Thank you.
And most people don't hear about you enough, but thank you for everything you're doing for our youth and our community.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out last night and joining us.
Thank you very much, Susan.
You're welcome. Thank
We'll
you.
see you on the 21st.
Thank you for joining us for that. We look forward to it.
Our next proclamation, Meredith.
American Red Cross, so if Kara Bird could come down. All right, Myrtle Beach proclaims American Red Cross Month, March 2026. Whereas in times of crisis, people in the city of Myrtle Beach come together to care for one another, a spirit exemplified by the volunteers and donors of the American Red Cross. And whereas the American Red Cross was founded in 1888 by Clara Barton with a mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering. And whereas more than 140 years later, Red Cross volunteers in the city of Myrtle Beach continue that legacy, joining millions across the United States who volunteer, give blood, donate, or learn life-saving skills through the organization. And whereas Red Cross volunteers provide shelter, food, and comfort after disasters such as home fires, donate blood for patients in need, assist service members and veterans, and teach life-saving skills such as first aid and CPR. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Myrtle Beach City Council hereby proclaims the month of March 2026 as American Red Cross Month and encourages all citizens to support its mission in all ways possible. Signed and sealed this 10th day of March 2026.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you all. I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you for proclaiming this month as March as Red Cross Month. This provides awareness to our community, the resources that we have, whether it's providing safety after a home fire, making sure that the hospitals are stocked in need of blood units that we may need, or just servicing our military members or providing life-saving training. You guys make that possible with us having this platform to educate our communities and let them know these resources are available. So thank you again.
And thank you for all the Red Cross does here in Myrtle Beach. Thank you very much, Kara. Meredith, proclamation, March is Women's History Month.
Yes, so I invite everyone, especially the women in the room, if you'd like to please come on down and stand with me as I read the Women's History Month proclamation. Don't be shy.
Got a few people.
A few women in the crowd.
Yes, come on down. Big picture, yeah.
That's the gentleman. I think I sent you that.
Going downstairs?
I know I'm not going to move this.
You going down the stand?
I'm going to get started on this one, but this is pretty exciting. I think this is our biggest showing so far. If you all could get really tight together so that we can get some really great pictures.
Come on in, you can get close to Meredith. You really can.
Yes, yeah, I don't bite.
Keep coming.
All right, here we go. Women's History Month, March 2026. Whereas American women have long stood resolute in the face of adversity, breaking barriers in government, business, the military, science, athletics, and every field of endeavor. And whereas after decades of advocacy and perseverance, women secured the right to vote with the ratification of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution in 1920, marking a historic milestone in the pursuit of equality and civic participation. And whereas throughout our nation's history, women have reached significant milestones that have shaped the United States, including the election of the first woman to Congress in 1916, the appointment of the first woman to the United States Supreme Court in 1981, and the election of the nation's first female vice president in 2020. And whereas women continue to shape communities across the nation and here in the city of Myrtle Beach, where women today have broken barriers in local government as the city's first female chief financial officer, police chief, public works director, neighborhood services director, communications director, and ocean rescue lieutenant, as well as in traditionally male-dominated fields such as information technology and public works. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Myrtle Beach City Council hereby designates March 2026 as Women's History Month in the city of Myrtle Beach and encourages all residents to celebrate the achievements of women and their lasting impact on our community. Signed and sealed this 10th day of March 2026. And I have someone special to accept this proclamation today and say a few words. Jacqueline Brangle with the Fire Department, the city's first female ocean rescue lieutenant. She was recently promoted. Jacqueline.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for recognizing Women's History Month and for the opportunity to speak today. As a newly promoted lieutenant, this moment means a great deal to me, not just personally, but for all the strong women who've helped pave the way. Standing here today represents more than just one person. It represents progress and leadership for the next generation of women in public safety. This month reminds us of the generations of women who broke barriers, challenged expectations and services to now know no gender. I am grateful to follow in their footsteps and proud to serve our community alongside an incredible team built of both men and women. I hope that moments like this continue to inspire young women to step forward and lead boldly and pursue careers where they can truly make a difference. A wise woman once told me that when one woman breaks through a barrier, she makes a path a little wider for the next to follow. Thank you again for this recognition and for your continued support for those who serve your community.
Thank you.
Feel the love, y'all. Come on in.
Wave in the back.
Thank you, ladies.
That looks good.
All right, now our procurement team.
Thank you.
All right, National Procurement Month is March, for those who don't know. So we have our stellar procurement team behind me. All right, National Procurement Month, March 2026. Whereas the public procurement profession plays a significant role in the efficiency and effectiveness of both government and business. And whereas the City of Myrtle Beach Procurement Division's mission is to bridge city goals with vendor resources to achieve the best value for our community and ensure that the spending of taxpayer dollars meets all legal and ethical requirements. And whereas the City of Myrtle Beach's Procurement Division issued 374 purchase orders totaling more than $15.3 million, issued 236 service agreements with a value of more than $74.3 million, and issued more than 51,000 items to staff, accounting for a daily average of 203 items during the 2025 fiscal year. And whereas the Procurement Division continues to advance our procurement practices to the highest level through collaborative relationships, efficient processes, and outstanding service. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Myrtle Beach hereby recognizes March as National Procurement Month and honors the hard work and dedication of our staff. And be it further proclaimed that the City of Myrtle Beach designates Wednesday, March 11th, as Procurement Professionals Day in the City of Myrtle Beach. Signed and sealed this 10th day of March, 2026. And our procurement manager, Ann Sowers, is here to accept it.
There she goes.
Mr. Mayor, esteemed council, and city leadership, thank you for this recognition and honor. The mission of the Procurement Division is to bridge city goals with vendor resources to achieve the best value for our entire community. We live this mission every day through our procurement values of accountability, leadership, integrity, service, and transparency. Our vision is to continually advance the value of our public procurement practice to the highest level through collaborative relationships with our city staff and local vendors, through efficient processes to secure the needed goods and services, and through outstanding service to benefit our community. Procurement touches every facet of city life. We are the contracting force behind all that helps our city to grow and thrive. We do shelving upgrades for Chapin Memorial Library, renovations to our convention center, medical supplies for our fire department, new flooring and siding for the historic Myrtle Beach Colored School Museum and Education Center, the outfall project on 24th Avenue in conjunction with our Public Works team, take-home vehicles for our police officers. And this is just a few, with many more projects that are implemented behind the scenes, but translate to better services for our staff, our residents, and our visitors. Let me take a moment to introduce our team. We have Brittany Osmond, Kirsten Miller, and the gentleman in the back, Chris Durhammer, Brandon Hancock, Chris Hall, and Jeremy Roof. And I want to acknowledge Gina Hansel, who we had to kind of leave back at the ranch to keep things going. To celebrate Procurement Month, we will be visiting many city locations to share the word about how procurement can be of value to each location. And then on March 25th, we would like to invite everyone to our open house. It will be an opportunity to meet your buyers and warehouse staff, to come see what we do every day, and to have a time of fellowship with our city teammates. Again, we thank you for this proclamation, and we hope to see you on March 25th, and we look forward to serving our city in 2026.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Ann, and your team. And now we have a significant moment in the life of the city of Myrtle Beach. We're recognizing Police Chief Amy Prock for nearly 30 years of service to the city as she begins her retirement in a little more than a month, a little less than a month, I think. So,
Can I please invite Amy's team to come down and support her? A proclamation for Police Chief Amy Prock. Whereas after nearly 30 years of service to the city of Myrtle Beach, Chief Amy Prock will retire from the Myrtle Beach Police Department April 2nd, 2026. And whereas Chief Prock joined the department in 1996 and in 2017 became the first woman to serve as chief of police in the department's history. And whereas throughout her career, Chief Prock served in numerous assignments across the department, including the waterfront, narcotics, and special operations, earned a degree in psychology from Francis Marion University, and graduated from the prestigious FBI National Academy. And whereas during her 9 years as chief, she led significant advancements in public safety, including the creation of the real-time crime unit and the integration of technologies such as ShotSpotter and the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. And whereas Chief Prock also strengthened partnerships between law enforcement and community organizations to address challenges such as opioid addiction, mental health, and homelessness, and her leadership was recognized statewide with the 2023 Strom Thurmond Excellence in Law Enforcement Award for City Departments. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Myrtle Beach City Council expresses its sincere appreciation to Chief Amy Prock for her nearly 3 decades of outstanding service and congratulates her on her retirement, wishing her continued success and happiness in the years ahead. Signed and sealed this 10th day of March 2026. I know you're surprised I'm going to say something. Serving the city of Myrtle Beach for nearly 3 decades has been the greatest honor of my professional life. This career has shaped me in ways few will fully understand. People behind me absolutely do. The most defining moments of my life, both personal and professional, have unfolded within these very walls and on these streets. This was never just a job for me, and never will be. MBPD was a calling. It challenged me, it strengthened me, and it made me a better person. This city made me a better person. I believe wholeheartedly that God placed me on this path. He blessed me with the people who walked it with me, with each and every one of you, those that are here who have gone before us. To my family that couldn't be here today, my blue family, who also is all here today, to the city, to our entire community who've helped raise me. Thank you for the privilege of allowing me to lead and to serve. I am deeply proud of what we have accomplished together. I wish you and our exceptional team, this exceptional team, continued success and safety in the years ahead. I want you to know, each and every one of you, that I have complete faith in this city, and I always have. I have complete faith in the men and women of the Myrtle Beach Police Department. Challenges remain, and they always will. But lessons have been learned, and we have learned from them. And there is a strength in this community, in the Myrtle Beach community, unlike any other. I know that. I've experienced that. 5 loaves, 2 fish. Anything is possible. Your police department, these men and women, they have a drive that will not quit. And even though you didn't ask, you knew you were going to hear this anyway. I will say this without hesitation. Chris Smith is the person to lead it forward. While outside perspectives have value, there is something powerful about loyalty, growth from within, and the grit that comes from shared history. He brings all of that, along with camaraderie and focus that will not waver. I wish you, each and every one of you, each and every one of you, and all of those that are not here today, and our beautiful community, and all of our partners, and our team, the very best always. May God's blessings continue to shine on you. Thank you again for this wonderful life and this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much.
Oh, God.
Chief Brock, on behalf of the Myrtle Beach City Council, our entire staff, the residents, the businesses, we thank you sincerely for your many years of service, nearly 3 decades, which is an unfathomable number. I believe you know the city very well. We wish you best luck and enjoyment in retirement. We would ask that you keep us in your prayers, and we'll keep you in ours. How's that? So thank you again very much, Chief Brock. that really is a significant moment in the life of the city of Myrtle Beach. So thank you again, Chief Prock and your staff, for being here today. Up next, we have the Communications and Creative Services update.
Hey City Council, Erin Bowling here with your communications update. 3, 2, 1, Savannah's playground reopened on March 4th.
I hope the inner child in each of you comes out to play today and every day.
After closing for a major renovation, kids can now enjoy all the new additions. It's safe to say that there were many smiling faces at the grand reopening. The Myrtle Beach Marathon and Half Marathon took place over the weekend. Thousands of runners competed in the event. Thanks to all of our city employees who helped make the race a success. The Beach Renourishment Project continues to move along. Crews are working on the north end of Myrtle Beach, heading towards Arcadian Shores. The annual Black History Month celebration took place at the Mary C. Canty Recreation Center. The event highlighted the Original Nine, a group of former historic Myrtle Beach Color School Museum and Education Center committee students who played a key role in preserving the building's history. The fire department's new Rescue 1 is now in use. This specialized vehicle replaces the former Rescue 1, which had been in service for 14 years. Looking ahead, Nights at Nance returns March 19th with Chocolate Chip and Company. The Downtown Spring Concert Series is back at Plyler Park every Friday from 6 to 8. The One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic is looking for volunteers to work the PGA Golf Tournament May 4th through 10th. Sign up now for the America 250 Red, White, and Remember Parade. Applications are open for the Grand Strand's most patriotic parade on May 23rd. And the Run to the Sun Car and Truck Show will take place at the old Myrtle Square Mall site March 19th through 21st. That's all for now. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you very much. Non-agenda items from the public, Madam Clerk.
Don Emery.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Don Emery. I'm a resident of the city. I'm a retired former business owner and currently acting as a marketing manager in the city. I am here today to propose that we put together an imagination team, and I've distributed those to you. I think everybody has one, correct? I'm a shoot from the hip guy, but I am going to read the first two paragraphs for clarity for the members in the audience that don't have these. Myrtle Beach is one of America's most recognized destinations, yet for too long our narrative has been shaped by outside voices and seasonal limitations. The Imagination Team is a cross-sector task force designed to reclaim that narrative, activate our shoulder months, and install iconic infrastructure that gives the world a reason to talk about our city and on our terms. This committee will unite marketing professionals, city staff, Myrtle Beach Area Chamber representatives, and the marketing department at Coastal Carolina University into a single, purpose-driven body. Results will begin materializing in 2027 with full operational maturity within 3 years. And if any of you have ever had a business, it doesn't happen in year one. It takes time. Without setting lofty goals, you do not achieve great things. Pillar number one is owning the social narrative. Myrtle Beach is beat up by a lot of negative press. The solution isn't defense and explanation, it's volume, and volume in positive marketing, positive attitude, and getting out there and drowning out the negative with that message. The best way to do that is to enlist CCU marketing department and the students at the college. They are the best at Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, far more so than myself or anybody in this room, I would believe, as well as Facebook. Flooding the feeds with positive, authentic Myrtle Beach content, students will gain portfolio-grade experience that the city gains year-round content engine that will provide that positive image that we want to put forward, and it'll be virtually no cost and part of their curriculum. Pillar number two is activate every month. This is more me shooting from the hip here, so I'm gonna have the conversation. Myrtle Beach's key focus, and it's fantastic, is on family tourism and sports tourism. That family tourism is a 10 to 12 week window of the year. we need to put a key focus on our shoulder months. We need to identify each month and what's special about each month. We need to extend our summer. We did a 60 more days of summer campaign that kind of fell by the wayside, but our September and our October are fantastic months to be here. In my opinion, they're the best months to be here. Let's put some focus back on those months and get that fall golf season back in that's lagging. Let's identify months like May and redevelop that as Military Appreciation Month. Let's identify other opportunities like Conway has capitalized on Halloween. I think even people in Myrtle Beach have traveled out to Conway to see the fantastic job they've done. And that didn't just happen year one, that happened in 3 years. That was a 3-year build, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. One of my key events that I want to do is Thanksgiving week. We all remember bonfires back when we were in high school. Big thing, fantastic. Let's pick that one day a year, Thanksgiving Eve on a Wednesday, and we have an elite fire department. I think there's a few of the guys back there, but we have an elite fire department. Let's build some nice big bonfires on the beach one day of the year, kick off a Thanksgiving Day weekend celebration, bring the people into town, flood our restaurants on Thanksgiving Day, flood our stores for Black Friday, Black Saturday shopping, and flood our theaters on Friday, Saturday night. Pirates Voyage, Medieval Times, etc., Carolina Opry. Let's work on the winter golf packages. Let's rejuvenate the fall, the winter. Let's focus on our snowbirds. Let's focus on the Canadian markets. Our Canadian market has definitely dropped off quite a bit. Pillar number 3, let's set forth and develop an iconic symbol that will represent Myrtle Beach and people will look forward to coming to see. In Sheboygan, Wisconsin, of all places, there stands a 400-foot flagpole, 70 by 140 feet. It's at Acuity Insurance up there. I'm not traveling to Sheboygan to go see that pole, but man, I sure would like to see that flag. I think that's an iconic symbol. I propose we take that title. Let's go get it. Let's set out, let's raise money privately, let's identify a location, let's build a flagpole 450 feet in the air that will be seen from Little River to Myrtle's Inlet and will be seen from all over the place. That is something that will take pictures. That is something that will draw people to the beach. That is something that people will put on Facebook and social media, Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube, and it'll be fantastic. Pillar number 4, develop an ambassador outreach program. I went to a couple golf expos this past spring. We have presence there from Sands Ocean Club. We have presence there from Carolina Golf. They represent their own individual organizations, but Myrtle Beach does not have a presence there at all. You have a beautiful website coming. I mean, that's just fantastic, that the work that they're doing. Let's send ambassadors up there, people from the community that are good with people. They're charismatic leaders. People like Beth Friedis from the Pelicans maybe, or Mary Carmen Eisenberg from the Chamber. Let's get our people out there and let's have conversations with people and talk to them about how fantastic Myrtle Beach is. And let's do it with the video displays like you're seeing here today. Let's go out and get them, especially up into Canada. Part 2 of that too is let's develop, I don't know where this starts, but it starts by asking the question. If you never ask the question, the answer is always no. Let's develop more direct flights to Myrtle Beach. Let's get direct flights from Canada. Let's get direct flights to Germany, England, Italy, so that European vacationers can come here, so that Canadian vacationers can come here. And for residents of Myrtle Beach, I think a direct flight to those places would be fantastic for me as well. So anyhow, 3-year build. I'm looking for 2 members of the city, members of the chamber, somebody from the marketing department, Coastal, and our marketing professionals in Myrtle Beach to sit together one time a month, possibly 2 times a month to get started, and let's identify what we can do to make things better. Any questions?
Thank you, Donnie. This is something we've talked about for the last couple of months. I know that you've been talking with Stuart Butler at the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce is very on board, and then of course candidate Mark Crua, and congratulations down Mayor Mark Crua, and Councilwoman Hatley and I believe Councilman Chestnut. We've talked about this as well, but and you focus on a little bit too. Myrtle Beach is not fun anymore. We are the Sun Fun City. Let's bring the fun back to Myrtle Beach, and by doing that, let's stop relying on the third-party vendors to promote. They do CCMF, Mustang Week, which is gone now. Shriners Week. We need to do our own independent stuff too. We need to not be reliant on people that can just pull the plug and take it somewhere else. Let's develop our own entity and our own projects.
Thank you, Don. I would agree. We need to be intentional to create the atmosphere that we want, that our visitors will enjoy, that our residents will enjoy, then that will support our business community. And those intentions need to exist. This is a good start for that. Thank you very much, Don.
I wish you success on getting everybody together, seriously, and it needs to happen. It really does need to happen. We used to have travel shows through the Chamber and the Hospitality Association, like when I was back in my 20s.
Yes.
And we would go to different places.
10 years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, you got out there and you talked Myrtle Beach up. And people got excited. They took your literature, which nobody prints much anymore, but you still have QR codes. You still have all this other stuff that we could utilize to get people in here again.
Having those one-on-one conversations in outbound markets and answering questions that people,
Yeah.
they can only get on social media, and half of that is wrong, is a key to success. And you're a former businesswoman too, and you know how important it is to go out and engage with people and get them here. Getting them in the door the first time, that's the key to everything.
Exactly.
Getting them to Myrtle Beach for the first time, that's the key to everything too. They're gonna come back, because Myrtle Beach is fun.
And you have to get out there and you have to, if they have questions, well, I heard this is what goes on down there. Well, let me correct you. That's not really what happened, or we've corrected, or whatever we have to do to play us up,
100%.
because we're still a great place to come visit.
Yeah, the truth of the matter is bad things happen everywhere, but when you are iconic, when you are Myrtle Beach and bad things happen, it is capitulated and much bigger than it is. I've lived here for 38 years, and I have never in my life felt in danger in this town. You know, this is a fun place to live. This is where my children, you know, are being raised and growing up, and there's nowhere else I would rather live. But yes, we need to go out and answer those questions and defuse those bombs as well.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks, Dottie. We have an opportunity to reimagine Myrtle Beach, to make the Myrtle Beach of tomorrow and the day after tomorrow as well.
Donnie, before I let you go, Dr. Connor, where in the college fabric, the social media component is what's exciting about this. Where would that reside in a college curriculum, just off the top of your head?
I would say our marketing department, the Wall College of Business. But
I'd
there
say
are
business majors.
that are marketing.
Yeah, I think that's a key element too, and again, that's no cost. I mean, these kids will be excited to get real world experience in a town that they live in, and a town that they can go out and have fun in. But imagine that, and I don't know how many students are in that in the Wall department there, but I mean, it's pretty extensive, and it also regenerates every year. So you get new youth and enthusiasm, and with new youth and enthusiasm comes new ideas.
Thank you, Donnie. Let's make it happen.
All right, thank you.
Vicki Levy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me. My name is Vicki Levy, and while I'm not a citizen of the city of Myrtle Beach, I'm proudly a Socastee-ite. I grew up in Myrtle Beach. This has been my home my whole life, and I have worked for the last 23 years on Broadway Street in downtown Myrtle Beach at State Farm. So I have a Broadway view and a bird's eye view of what I'm going to talk about. I want to talk a little bit today about the gold caps and the services and the benefits that those gold caps bring to the downtown area. I had someone not too long ago ask me where I thought Myrtle Beach's downtown was. And I think growing up, downtown was kind of the boulevard. And we didn't spend a whole lot of time on Broadway Street as teenagers because nothing was happening there. But as I grew to be an adult and work in the business world, I realized that downtown encompasses a whole lot more in Myrtle Beach than just the boulevard. And what I've come to see is the growth that's happened intentionally and organically off of the boulevard, and how we're working very hard as business people and a community to bring locals back to downtown, to patronize the new restaurants, to go to the businesses, to enjoy the entertainment and services that are growing down there. And one of the key elements I think that's happened is the implementation a few years ago of the gold cap service that's down there. For those of you behind me that might not know, those are the folks that wear gold shirts and gold hats, and they patrol the areas, and they clean up the trash, they pick up the streets, they tidy the landscape. They fill in a lot of the things where the city services can't get to or don't get to frequently enough based on need. Like they're there to take every day, a couple times a day, they're emptying the trash. And on Broadway Street, that's the situation because we have a lot of folks that are down there. Some folks live there, some there come and live on the benches and things like that. And so the other thing that I see the Gold Caps do is that they're ambassadors for the downtown area. They're friendly, they give directions. I have even seen, so my office sits on the corner of Broadway and 4th Avenue. I have a window that looks sideways to Broadway and looks all the way down Broadway to Highway 501. So I see a lot of what's going on every day on Broadway Street. I see them help folks with directions. I see them help folks with information. I've seen accidents happen on Broadway Street and the Gold Caps responded first and then helped until emergency services got there. Fire department, police department, things like that. So I just wanted to kind of tout or brag on what they do for us. A byproduct of the work is that they fostered a renewed sense of pride in the areas downtown, including the boulevard. We can see over the last couple of years the business growth on Broadway Street alone, the freshening up of the facades of the building, along with new businesses coming in and thriving in the downtown area. When someplace feels safer because there are other folks out there, and specifically these folks are wearing uniforms, so they appear to be a group. You know, when something feels safer, you feel more comfortable being there and being down there. And the whole goal of, I think, what we're doing with our downtown redevelopment from a business person standpoint, and speaking for State Farm's been down there for 71 years. We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of Broadway Street and the downtown in Myrtle Beach. And we have always purported that there's a lot of goodwill on the corner of 4th Avenue and Broadway Street. You don't have to look far to find us because we're proud to be part of what has happened in the past and what is currently happening. And I would dare say those Gold Caps are a very good ambassadorship for what is going on and the growth that's happening both on the boulevard and here. And it also gives a sense of continuity for the travelers that come here because when they see them on the regular, they know that those are folks that help represent Myrtle Beach and they can go to them for help, for assistance, for directions, you know, anything like that, in addition to the fact that, wow, it looks a whole lot better downtown in Myrtle Beach because of them. So thanks so much. Any questions?
Thank you, Vicki. I will say that I've always considered Broadway Street the de facto Main Street for the city. Main Street is 2 blocks long. Broadway is more than 2 blocks long, but Broadway is where the longtime businesses continue to exist. So thank you very much.
Good deal. Thank you for your time.
Like a good neighbor.
Dana West. Dana West.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm just coming up after someone that is on my same topic. My name is Dana West, and I'm the owner of Milano Kitchen and Bath. And I am also going to be speaking about the Gold Caps. Something super important, and I know we're trying to build downtown in just the most beautiful place it can possibly be. And that is why we actually relocated. So we were, at one point, we were on 3rd Avenue South. And once we had the gist and the knowledge that the Arts and Innovation District was coming and getting built and things were changing, it really was an opportunity to have a lot of foresight and investment and move into downtown Myrtle Beach onto Broadway. So these Gold Caps are really, really, really important to me and to Allstate and to all of the other businesses that are currently there.
State Farm.
Or State Farm. Oh, sorry. State Farm is there. That's right. Okay. Anyway, and potentially for all of the other amazing businesses that will potentially be moving there. I'm I try and say that I'm a kind of a visionary, and I envision that this is really going to be the best move that we could possibly have made. But the gold caps are an imperative part. On a personal note, when I see them walking around town and they are uniformed, they're extremely helpful. And I'm not from Myrtle Beach. We relocated from Southern California. We were in Miami for many years with Milano, and we brought Milano here to Myrtle Beach. So I am continually, and I'm chatty Cathy, I'm continually asking questions and this and that, and they've been very, very helpful in giving me a lot of information on the Downtown Alliance, a lot of information on the Art Walk, and they're really, really good people that are there, which make myself, my staff, and my clientele also feel much safer. There are a lot of, unfortunately, people that do not have homes and that are around in the area, and there's a lot of trash, a lot. I can't tell you how much trash there is. And so, not that my staff and I don't participate and help and try to keep things as clean as possible, because I do have my clientele coming into our showroom, which is absolutely beautiful, and all of you need to pop in and check it out if you ever need any remodeling. Anyway, but you know, they're there to help and keep us not just clean and trash and this and that, but also feel safe. And I know there's a conversation potentially that maybe they won't be in existence too much longer. However, I'm hoping so much that we can keep them around for a while. I believe, you know, eventually maybe, you know, we won't need to have them. We may not need to have as many of them. But at this point in time, I think it's really imperative that we need their help. We need their you know, outfits around town to help people, to show people that we're really building this community into something really incredible and strong, and we're working together to do so. And unfortunately, when you're a company and there's just a bunch of balagan, that's a Hebrew word for, you know, a big mess around, it's hard to entice clientele to come and walk into your showroom. You know, so we try and keep everything beautiful around our surrounding area, but it's all in that whole community. It's just hard because it deters many people. We have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that are moving here. Our biggest clientele are people that are moving from New York and New Jersey. They have extremely high expectations of what they want. And, you know, what's happening so far with Boteco, amazing. I mean, next door is the wine tasting room, amazing. Then there's the ice cream store, amazing. Wiena's that relocated to that side, amazing. So there's all of these great businesses that are there, but in order for us to flourish, and I obviously want to flourish, and I want everyone else to flourish as well, it's going to be a community effort where we really need to try and keep everything clean. With all of the construction and everything that's going on, it's hard. It's very hard for us. It's hard for, I don't have my loading dock. You know what? It's okay. I'm working with it. I'm willing to do whatever I can to make it all work for all of us. But this, I just want to implore, it's an imperative part of the growth of you know, downtown Myrtle Beach, and to please try to keep them on staff or on board to be helping us all and to continue to flourish and grow.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you very much.
I believe the current cost for the Gold Cap ambassadors is $830,000 a year. So, thank you. Next.
Thank you.
George Reynolds.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council, for letting me just share some of my concerns. 7 years ago, my house burned down in New Hampshire, and when your house burns down, you become homeless. So somehow it wasn't our plan to come to Myrtle Beach from Derry, New Hampshire, but that's where we ended up. The Lord has different plans sometimes, and I had been involved in the bicycle community, building frames, just doing repairs and stuff. I'm a business owner and a resident in Myrtle Beach. I do bicycle repair. So when I first got here, I met some people in my church, and they had a ministry in J. Reuben. So, that was something I had done up in New Hampshire for over 30 years. So, I've been probably in prison more times than pretty much anybody, but it was as a volunteer, and it was very fruitful. I found that the men there had a hunger for the word that was just refreshing. So there was a wise man that said, the more words, the less meaning. So I'm going to try to get right to the point. Riding my bicycle around Myrtle Beach over the last 7 years, I probably go out there almost every day. I see a lot of things that you don't see when you're driving your car. Some good, some bad, but I have noticed it's better than it was like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I'd see more needles. I saw people in the fentanyl fold, more often than now. But I think the police and the fire department, they're doing an excellent job. But what I wanted to share was about ending homelessness in Myrtle Beach, because this is our town. And some of the things that other towns are doing seem to be very effective. But I will point out, New Directions, our community kitchen, Kate at the Fresh Brew, coffee house, some of the homeless services, the medical, the mental health treatment, all that stuff. It needs to be done. And but I had a chance right before Thanksgiving to visit my son who lives in Austin, Texas, and I found this place called Community First Village. And what they've done, they've been operating for over 20 years. They're currently housing over 500 formerly chronically homeless people, and they have it's a small shelter community. A lot of the homes, they don't have plumbing. They do have a bathroom, shower facility, and community kitchens. It's all based around community. For every 5 residents, there's like a volunteer who just kind of brings things together, and it's quite a community. And I guess this year they're expecting to have over 1,000 people. So that's one thing one community's doing. Just in Wilmington, North Carolina, I don't know, is anybody familiar with Eden Village? I had a chance to visit there also. And there's 30 plus residents there. They're living in manufactured housing. They're small, and that's all focused on community. And their big thing is, imagine a city where nobody sleeps outside. When I ride my bike around and I see a piece of cardboard on the ground, I know somebody slept there last night. And I've had friends that they went to the hospital, right? This one case, he went to McLeod, and he came out. They sent him away the next day in a wheelchair. They had a security guard take him to the Circle K gas station and said, "Okay, I need to take the wheelchair back." The man couldn't walk, and we can do better. I'm sure there's other communities too. Dignity Village up in Oregon, they started a small community. They fenced it in, and it's self-governed, and I think there's like 50 people there. So, sometimes it requires a change in zoning, maybe make an exception. Other cities will do safe parking areas. I believe something was done years ago near the community, the convention center across the street with, I think it's the bounce park. I think there was some space open for people to park the vehicles for a short while, but I don't know. but I'm sure we can do better. I'm going to come up, I'm going to provide some more information maybe in the future, that just what other cities are doing, that God is blessed, and that He's going to, that's what we could do as a city. If nothing's done, the same people that I saw 7 years ago that are still on the street now, they need help. Some of them aren't going to be able to lift themselves off the street. And I just make another request that maybe the council would consider supporting the coffee house, because they do a lot. Miss Kate, she has over 100 people coming there, especially on the weekend when there's no food being served in the community kitchen. But that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, George. You're right. There's a larger conversation underway, and that will continue about how to provide services, the groups that provide those assistance. We're talking about that. We're thinking about that. It is definitely a conversation that the community is having. So thank you for your input.
And if I could just add, in July of 2025, so there was an executive order, our president, and it was called, what was the name of the, it said, I'm just trying to see here. Yeah. Yeah, it was an executive order. It says, and the title of it was Ending Crime and Disorder on American Streets. So Myrtle Beach is a lot better off than some of these big cities, obviously, but we can do better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
One more.
Okay.
Bo Bryan.
Mr. Bryan?
Myrtle Beach is more famous than Dirty Myrtle. She, the Myrtle who needs cleaning, keeps trying to break out, determined not to be buried. To get more famous, she acts out, gets caught, but can no longer avoid consequences. Henceforth, prosperity is practically guaranteed. The big blue ocean will not dry up. The white sand beach will not disappear this year. The Sun Fund Capital keeps the neon glowing. The colored lights make promises that the big blue ocean and white sand beach deliver on. Fun in the sun is easy to come by. No wonder the whole world is on its way to play at the beach. It's the most fun place to be yourself. Thank you.
Bo, just a moment to thank you for being our first poet laureate. We really appreciate your effort.
Oh, you're welcome.
And your pontification is welcome anytime.
I pontificate readily.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bo. And it is all opportunity. We have tremendous things ahead of us, but again, we need to be intentional about making them come into existence. So thank you again. It's time for the consent agenda.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Okay. Well, it is still morning, so good morning. For this morning's consent agenda, you have 5 items on your list to be considered. The first item is second reading of ordinance 2026-19, granting a franchise agreement for operations of rental business of conveyance to Ben Robinson doing business as Rent Me Superstore, located at 106 North Kings Highway for a period of 1 year. The agreement includes 30 golf cart decals and 10 moped decals. The second item for your consideration is second reading of ordinance number 2026-20, granting a franchise agreement for operation of rental business of conveyance to Ben Robinson, doing business as Rent Me Superstore 300 LLC, located at 300 South Ocean Boulevard for a period of 1 year. The agreement includes 114 golf cart decals and 83 moped decals. The next is second reading of ordinance 2026-21, granting a franchise agreement of operation of rental business of conveyance to Ben Robinson, doing business as Rent Me Superstore 1205 LLC, located at 1205 North Ocean Boulevard for a period of 1 year. The agreement includes 46 golf cart decals and 37 moped decals. The next item is motion 2026-37 to approve a memorandum of agreement between the City of Myrtle Beach Police Department and the South Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice to continue interagency coordination and support related to secure detention facilities. This is compliance with state law for juveniles who end up in the police department custody. And the next and the last one for your consideration is motion 2026-38 to approve a memorandum of agreement between the City of Myrtle Beach Police Department and South Carolina Highway Patrol for certain weekends beginning March 13th through August 31st, 2026 for weekend support of troopers.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Debbie, second. Are there any comments from City Council on the consent agenda as presented? Any comments from the public? All those in favor of the consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the consent agenda is approved. Moving on to the regular agenda, we've got a couple of boardwalk vendor franchise agreements. Madam Clerk.
First reading of ordinance 2026-22, granting a boardwalk vendor franchise agreement for Charmadi Abdel Kadar, doing business as Myrtle Breeze for the 4th Avenue North portion of public boardwalk of the City of Myrtle Beach for a period up to 1 year, beginning March 24th, 2026.
Thank you, Jen. Mayor, members of council, good morning. Ordinance 22 and 23 are related. These are both existing vendors that are operating boardwalk franchises. We are simply asking, we have 4 boardwalk franchises that have historically been allowed, approved at 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th Avenue. The 5th Avenue boardwalk franchise has been vacated for a period of time. We continue to struggle to find vendors that can operate consistently under the constraints of the franchise. We're recommending that we not fill the 5th Avenue street end at this time and that we shift both 3rd Avenue and 4th Avenue up to fill that 5th Avenue gap. So if both of these are passed, we would have the vendors that we have today would just shift around and we would have them at 4th, 5th, and 6th versus 3rd, 4th, nobody at 5th, and a final one at 6th Avenue. So again, both of these operators are in good standing, but they both are compliant and adherent to the agreement, and simply just shifting around some puzzle pieces.
May we take both of these together?
Yes, you can.
Would you read the second one, please?
Yes. First reading of ordinance 2026-23, granting a boardwalk vendor franchise agreement to Haley Riccardi, doing business as Riccardi's Italian Ice for the 5th Avenue North portion of the public boardwalk of the City of Myrtle Beach for a period up to 1 year, beginning March 24th, 2026.
Do we have a motion from council to approve these 2 items?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Chestnut's second. Any discussion from council?
So are both of these franchisees okay with the shift?
Yeah, they would actually prefer it. The further up, closer they can get, the better off.
Good.
Any discussion from the public? Are the franchisees here? Do they wish to say anything?
I'm not sure.
Not necessary.
Say no.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Those 2 ordinances pass on first reading. Jennifer, motion 26-39.
Motion 2026-39 to authorize the city manager to enter into a $162,200 contract with Stan Tech Consulting Services Incorporated to perform a market common area traffic and speed study.
Is there a motion to approve? We'll talk about it. get a motion on it.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve so we can talk about it?
So moved. So moved.
Okay. Mike Chestnut, Dr. Render.
Okay.
Mr. City Manager?
Yeah, we've talked about this before. We've had several workshops on this, and this is to just memorialize the planned study that we've talked about for $162,200. You've heard from staff several times that the data we don't believe supports this, but this is obviously a city council call. And if you choose, then we'll be happy to execute this contract and move forward with the study. And this would study the entire market comment community, including possible Saybrook development coming out. I will also share with the members of the public and council that as we talked about, the rumble strips, or the bumpy strips as we called, are being put out today. We've actually had the first set down now in that, and we continue to use police. Police are out there continuing to monitor traffic safety.
And the bumpy strips in 2 test areas, and attention getting but not complaint generating.
I'm not going to say complaint generating, but
that's the goal anyway.
I understand the goal, but I'm not sure they're going to be complaint. I do believe we'll have some complaints.
Can you describe the scope of the traffic study?
We have actually Stuart Day here from Stantec, if he wants to come up and explain to it. He's the one that would be, if we execute this, he'd be the project manager and the project lead.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. Always glad to be in Myrtle Beach. So I guess just to walk through the scope of the work that, as we had talked about it, we were going to collect turning movement counts at a number of intersections throughout the Market Commons area. That's traffic data, so all the cars as they turn through the intersections, as well as pedestrian and bike counts. Those would be collected at 14 locations for the 4-hour counts. Then we would also collect 24-hour data at an additional 10 locations, and that would also include what is being called near-miss data. So it would use AI to track paths as they interact within a certain time. So it kind of helps give an additional level of safety concern that maybe is not reported in crash data. We would collect 7-day tube counts, which would be volume classification of vehicles as well as speed data at 32 locations on 13 streets. We would apply any seasonal adjustment factors to compare off-peak season versus traditional beach season. We would factor in the trip generation from the nearby Saybrook development to understand what additional traffic may be coming. We would do signal warrant analyses at all of the 24-hour locations. That would be those 10 locations we talked about. We would do crash data analysis along the corridors to understand any crash history and any recommendations. We would do a field review and observations along the corridors, and then we'd generate a report summarizing our findings, any opportunities for changes and that type of thing, working with Public Works. Then we have a second task, if desired, that we would come back and do a smaller data collection effort in the summer months to determine if summer counts are in fact different than the school year counts, as we would call it, and then in a memo comparing those two.
Stuart, what sort of recommendations would you be likely to make as a result of this study data? I understand that you can't project what those recommendations might be, but just to give us a framework.
Sure. So we would look at a holistic, our speed limits in the area set appropriately. Would there be any other opportunities to modify them based on MUTCD guidance, the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices? We would look at potential, if a traffic signal would be recommended at any location, if it'd be recommended to remove any crosswalks or to enhance any crosswalks with additional signage and other safety countermeasures. So it would kind of be a holistic look to determine what may be appropriate to change or modify.
And that could include street modifications, bump outs, whatever the case may be?
It could be, yes.
Council?
One of the concerns that I had, sorry about that, but you just mentioned it, would be coming back in the summer to take a really close look at, does that set of data match or reflect what you've previously seen? because that's been one of the complaints that we hear from residents and some businesses, a perception of speeding, safety, and then collecting the data when you need to collect it. So I'm glad to hear that we'll be coming back in the summer months to do that. Let me ask you this question, though. This may get into your pocketbook or your company's pocketbook. Based on what you know right now, would you recommend that we do this study?
That's up to the council. I would say that I think the speed limits are probably appropriate based on the road characteristics as I've driven them. I do think there may be opportunities to make other safety enhancements based on the locations of crosswalks and the numbers of potential crossings. Without the data, it's hard for me to say with certainty, but the data is the primary purpose of this study is to have that full data set to understand it.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may, with regard, though, to my short stint on council this go-round.
This year.
I would just say that from what I've seen, though, this body is data-driven. And to that end, should we vote to engage your services, my future decisions will be heavily weighed on that data. So, your group's reputation's on the line. So we'll see how the vote goes.
No
but
pressure.
again, I think during these times, this expense is we are all cautionary about moving in that direction. But again, nothing trumps public safety in this body's eye. Though we appreciate senior staff's recommendations also, it's our job to weigh and move forward. Thank you.
Last question. This is from Kings Highway to the Bellamy interchange. It's the entire length of Faro plus all of Coventry, and then anticipating the increased traffic that may come from US 17 into Coventry from the Saybrook development.
That's correct. It is a number of streets, not just Faro Parkway and Coventry. We're also considering Myers, Howard, Johnson, Shine, Yorkshire, Berkshire, Culberson, Pompous, Swallow, Mallard Lakes, and Spruce as well. Okay. So in the whole Market Commons area, really. Okay.
I think that based on staff recommendation, my understanding, staff recommendation is that we leave the speed limits the way they are and that we do some enhancements. And I think from my perspective, the only reason that we would engage in this type of study if there is a big push to start making changes to speed limits there against staff recommendations, in which then we need to be informed with this data to make changes. So that's kind of my thought.
Anybody else?
I mean, right.
Mayor, I just like that, I just still feel like, based on the last meeting's presentation from staff as far as their recommendations, I think we ought to give them a chance to be tested, I guess you would say, for several months before we go spend $162,000 to maybe tell us what staff is telling us. That's my take. I think we're putting the cart before the horse. Even though I think there are some concerns and people want us to do the traffic study. I'm just saying, do we really need to do it right now until we give the changes or the recommendations a chance to see if they would make improvements on how people drive out there and whether it would slow down people or cause people to pay more attention and not have accidents. And so I just think that we need to look at that before we go to a full-blown traffic study. And not only that, I think there's been other traffic studies out there who probably we can look at those and glean some more information from those.
We have not had a traffic study to this depth.
Not to my knowledge.
And I would have to also agree with Mr. Chestnut on that. I think we're kind of putting the cart before the horse to see the changes that we are making currently, to see if they, cure some of the ailments before we spend $162,000. Sorry.
My, not reservation, but my thought is this, and I hear what we're talking about, staff, and staff has done a lot of good work. What I don't want to have happen is for, as an example, for staff to tell us, okay, we're going to do this and we'll have it done in 90 days. And 6 months later, it's not done. If we're going to start it, let's do it. Let's have a start date and, let's have an end date. And unless there is some major reason why it can't be completed in that period of time, it needs to be completed so that we can then take that information and come back and evaluate that against what his company would be doing.
So what are you saying, Bill?
Yeah, I'm not following.
Very simply, if we're going to go the way of the staff following their direction right now, let's have a start date and an end date.
Gotcha.
So that we're not prolonged doing, I don't want to be sitting here a year from now talking about another traffic study.
When could you start?
And here comes Brian.
When could you start?
We could start and get counts scheduled, but typically we would not want to count during spring break, so we'd want to consider HGTC's spring break as well as Horry County Schools. So we would look for a date in between to do that data collection.
Because school traffic is heavy at various times during the day.
Correct.
And I guess Councilman McClure, I popped up, I think the question is just some clarification. At present, we are already engaged with traffic enforcement, so we already have the enhanced enforcement. We will continue to staff that. Again, they keep trying to tag me with the bumpy strips. I'm going to give that to you.
That's me. That's all me. But it came from the residents. The residents requested it.
Well, I just meant the moniker of.
The bumpy strips? Okay.
We'll let you own that one. But those are going down today, and those will be finished today. So I think from that standpoint, we have started and finished that. We will continue with the traffic enforcement until, to your point, we have more compliance, and we will continue to address the traffic enforcement numbers. And I think those are the two recommendations that we're moving ahead with now. So those are already underway, and again, the strips will be finished today, and then the enforcement will continue until we struggle to provide the man hours to do that.
And to your point, more compliance. We need to set a time where we say we either achieved it or we didn't do it. And so that's what I'm looking for.
Well,
how much time are we going to use to evaluate whether we have more compliance or not?
We will continue to provide you regular updates on the citation numbers, and then you all can direct us to either add additional efforts or move forward with traffic study.
Mr. Turcotte, let me ask you, if I hear you, Mr. McClure, and I agree. So can we say, or is it fair to say, let's say in 6 months, we get data back and it says, hey, it hadn't got any better, or it's gotten better. So if we see it's working, so I'm, Bill, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
We can give you 6 months, we can give you 4 months. I guess my question is, what's the criteria you're judging by?
What, do you judge it by?
Yeah, I mean, the 85th percentile, do we judge it by something else? What's the measurement?
Well,
That's
what a traffic study would tell us.
Well, again,
they're going to use the 85th percentile as well, which is what we use, and there's always going to be, cars that go faster and cars that go lower, and I just don't know if 10% over, 20% over, 15%, 17.5%. What's the
17.5? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what's that magic number says? Yes, that's it.
One of the reasons I think staff recommended a comprehensive traffic study for all of the Market Common area is because there have been issues beyond this little stretch of Farrah Parkway that we've talked about.
I'll be honest with council, we recommended it. We've had this conversation for a long time.
Yes.
And that's, you know, it's time or not time. I mean, that's kind of.
I'm all about not spending money
Yeah,
at
I
the end
get
of the day. Not spending money is a good thing.
We've done a lot of, we got all the data in the world. I think Stuart's going to use a lot of the data that frankly we've collected in his analysis.
But I think staff's recommendation for the comprehensive traffic study included Coventry, where residents have complained about the speed limit on a 4-lane divided highway. The traffic signal timing at the former back gate, the Bellamy interchange there, near Fred Nash Boulevard, where the stacking lane coming off US 17 is inadequate to handle the number of cars that want to turn onto Fred Nash and back into that shopping center. The timing of that light when HGTC lets out in the early afternoon and cars back up past Anderson Brothers Bank, past Agnes Lane to get through that back gate. So it's more comprehensive than just the speeding on Farrah Parkway. But if staff is willing to be receptive to our continued suggestions, we may be able to delay this for the moment.
We will be as receptive as we can. It's just a very ebb and flow type of thing. I mean, push here, it goes up over here. One of those, make one constituency happy, one constituency gets angry.
Mayor, my concern in closing, and this is all I'll say, and if the body would like to wait, I'd be happy to withdraw my motion, but I can see the enhanced enforcement. When I'm down there 4 or 5 times a week, my concern is the larger problem is, do we back off and, as you say, push in here, let off here in another neighborhood? We need to address the manpower issue with regard to enforcement throughout the city. And again, that is up to us to provide those instruments to senior staff to do.
And that's a conversation we need to have at some point.
Next week we'll begin.
Yes.
Well, I'm a withdraw my first because I really just put it on just for discussion, so.
Well, my second was in earnest. I believe we need a study, but in order to advance the ball for the greater good, I'll step back and listen to the other 5 members present.
All right, so we don't have a motion at the moment.
No.
Will we entertain a motion to continue this to a later time?
Yes.
That's
Motion to continue.
Motion to continue. Is there a second to continue?
I'll second it.
And Dr. Render? Any other discussion from council?
No.
Any discussion from the public?
Good morning, Alex Fogel. I have a property that abuts Coventry, right near the where the Saybrook would be coming in, and so obviously I'd be concerned about the traffic and everything, and that would increase. But unlike many others in the city, I also own a property on 4th Avenue North, a property on 65th Avenue North, a property on 66th Avenue North, a property on Wildwood, a property on Blinn, and a property on Wedgwood. And so I see traffic all over the city. I see children standing on the shoulder of streets with no sidewalk, just inches from the roadway, waiting for the school bus. I see people trying to cross Kings Highway to get to the post office, and they don't have the benefit of nice bright yellow signs and flashing lights to help them cross. A 4-lane highway, the same as on Coventry. I think most of you would recognize that the majority of the pedestrian traffic in the Market Common is either leisurely or recreational. These aren't people walking to work. They aren't people trying to get to the post office or to the pharmacy or to grocery shopping. Where in major parts of our city, that is the only transportation people have, is to walk. And it's not being addressed anywhere else. Some of the best engineered and best maintained roads in this city are in the Market Common. So I would applaud your delaying this motion. This is not the right time or the right place in the city to spend that kind of money. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. And that speaks to my point that we need to have a consistent look and function throughout the city. If the Market Common is desirable, that look and that function should exist throughout the city as well. So, Mr. Day, thank you for your time today. Any other comments from the public? All those in favor of the motion to continue this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Madam Clerk, motion 26-40.
Motion 2026-40 to name the stage in Nance Plaza the Philip James Fox Stage.
This is a motion that came forward from the community. I did not personally know Mr. Fox. I don't know whether any of you did or not, but there is a process by which residents and businesses can request things to be named. They completed that process. They filled out that application. The police department and the city staff have done their due diligence and found glowing things about Mr. Fox. Is there a motion to approve this naming of the Nance Plaza stage, the Philip James Fox stage, for discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have folks in the community who have brought this forward. Would you like to come say a few words?
Who was the first and who was the second?
All right, Jackie, second.
Thank you.
Bill first.
Thank you so much for putting this on the agenda. Obviously, it's very emotional. My name's Heather Lee Begley, and I'm here on behalf of so many people who loved and were inspired and encouraged by Phil. We started an organization actually called Fox Fest for the Arts to carry on his legacy of the encouragement and inspiration and amplification of the arts and artists. And we actually will be having our inaugural Music and Arts Festival in Nance Plaza on March 21st of this month. The stage in Nance Plaza is the last place that Phil Fox played with his band at last May at the First Friday Art Walk. He was on the Art Walk committee. He was a prolific creator, staging 7 plays in the city of Myrtle Beach. He released an EP, 5 albums, was working on a 6th album, did a short film, a book. But none of those things really represent why Mr. Fox was so significant in the lives of so many people. It is that he was the embodiment of the spiritual gift of encouragement. He lived his life as an invitation to embrace your own uniqueness and bring it forth into the world, which is really what art is. And so I know there's a couple other people. We're not all going to try and speak, but a couple other people have some words to say. And thank you so much. He was a fixture in downtown for more than 30 years. I met him 33 years ago at a little place called Ibby's, where Sun City is today. But, thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather. Somebody else?
I'd like to thank council for considering this. The last time I saw Phil Fox was actually on the stage at Nance Plaza. He was sincerely a fixture downtown for the last 30 years. He was a poet and a painter, and he was a musician, and most importantly, a mentor. I think if you look behind me, you can see the amount of people that showed up today, and that age range speaks to what he did as a mentor. There's not hardly a musician or a band or artist in town that he did not affect in some way. He never sought the limelight, and I think that speaks to his character as well. So I would like to thank you guys for considering this. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Councilman Wallace, you're here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree. Phil Fox was definitely, certainly a light to this community. I didn't get to meet him, as much as I would have liked, but he was definitely one that encouraged me to keep on with my gift. He was definitely an encourager, so when the last time I spoke to him was actually at one of the art galleries downtown, Kaleidoscope, and I remember I shook his hand and, I told him, I said, I hope to see you sometime soon, you know, didn't even realize that that was going to be the last time I spoke to him. So, but I definitely thank you guys for definitely considering going through with this, because I definitely feel somebody, you know, that had a positive impact, you know, on the Myrtle Beach community definitely deserves the love and the light. And I think Phil Fox did that for as long as he lived. So thank you guys for sure.
Thank you.
You know, I knew Mr. Fox pretty well, and you know, he wore a lot of different hats. He was an author, a poet, a playwright, a director, a singer, a songwriter, a musician, entertainer, and artist. And if anybody that ever watched him walk into a venue, he had a real flair about him, or wore that minstrel outfit that he was always wearing, that green thing. But his most important role, they've already talked about, he was a mentor to a lot of young people. And he brought out the uniqueness that they had. You heard that over and over again, and that was never more on display than probably today, but at his funeral, because there were an age range of people there. Bo Bryan, the poet laureate, spoke. You know, I was there, so you had people in our age range, but you had people all the way down to 15, 16-year-old kids who he had mentored, and you could see the clear impact that he had had on their life. And so I can't think of anybody who had an impact on our arts and entertainment community downtown that was as large as Phil Fox, nor for as long as Phil Fox. And so I really do appreciate that y'all are considering doing this, because he really does deserve this honor, more so than I can think of anyone else that would qualify. So thank you.
Thank you all. Council? Any other comments from the public?
I just want to say thank you for considering this, and that I too grew up with Phil Fox. He is the epitome of an arts and entertainment district, and he's inspired me and just about everybody I know. He's an icon.
Thank you, Martina. All those in favor of motion to name the stage in Nance Plaza the Philip James Fox Stage, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
I see that you all brought Kelly with you. I thought maybe she was going to have some kind of zoning thing happen for this day. Good to see you, Kelly.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. We hope to see you in Nance Plaza on March 21st.
Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. You know, the more things change, the more things stay the same. I look over here, and I can't help but think that Randall and Susan look a lot like Mike and Phil.
That's a compliment.
When's your eye doctor's appointment?
Yeah.
We do have a resolution that we haven't tackled. Do resolutions come after motions or vice versa?
Actually, resolutions come before motions.
Yeah, before, so I will catch it. I knew that it was there, but I couldn't remember. All right, motion, Jennifer, 26-41.
Motion 2026-41, authorizing the city manager or his designee to apply for and accept, if awarded, SC American Revolution monthly grant for $15,000 from the SC American Revolution Sesquicentennial Commission for the purpose of purchasing 250 SC 250 flag kits and historical field signage for Warbird Memorial Park's Field of Honor, and to record the appropriation of such grant funds in the amount that may be approved, and to execute and deliver the grant agreement and such related documents as may be required to put that grant into effect. The cost share of this project is $40,000.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mike and Debbie. Is this 250 more flags?
Correct.
Okay, so 500
Correct.
total?
If we're successful.
Okay. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor of motion 26-41, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you, that motion is approved. Motion 26-42.
Motion 2026-42 to declare certain vehicles abandoned or derelict pursuant to the authority of Article 41 of Title 56, South Carolina Code of Laws, 2001.
Are there any members of the public representing these vehicles in the audience today? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion.
Jackie and Debbie. Any comments from council? Any comments from the public? All those in favor of this motion to declare vehicles abandoned or derelict, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now picking up Resolution 26-5, which was moved from the consent agenda. Jennifer?
Resolution 2026-5, appointing an alternate committee member to the Grand Strand Area Transportation Study Policy Committee for the City of Myrtle Beach.
Mayor, I would like to amend this resolution to appointing a committee member and an alternate committee member.
What's the need for an alternate, just in your mind?
In the event that one of the two appointees cannot attend, the alternate attends in
Okay,
place.
maybe I misunderstood. We're
in-
voting to appoint an alternate
And a committee member.
and a
Mr.
committee.
Chestnut has served for 8 years.
Yeah.
And Ms. Hatley has expressed a desire to serve. And so we're going to recommend, I will recommend that Ms. Hatley,
Be the other member in
Now I
addition to the
understand.
mayor.
Thank you.
Chestnut
Now I
being the
understand.
alternate.
Thank you.
And that Mr. Chestnut be
In
the alternate.
agreement.
So, okay.
And I second the motion, so now we can talk about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mayor, I'd just like to say to Ms. Hatley and to you also, I've had the pleasure of serving for the past several years, so learned a lot of information from GSATs, and it is a good body to be a part of. And there's a lot of things that they do in our city that a lot of people don't realize, and it's just a great committee to be a part of.
Thank you. GSATS is the Grand Strand Area Transportation Study.
Correct.
And it's a DOT-led group, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any comments from the public? All those in favor of that motion to appoint Councilwoman Hatley as the second member of the GSATS Policy Committee and Councilman Chestnut as the alternate for either the mayor or Councilwoman Hatley, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you, that motion carries. I think that's the agenda. Are there any communications from boards, commissions, members? Any communications from council and the manager?
Just a reminder, we're still looking for a co-star TA appointment. That's a hard board for us to fill for some reason, so just trying to keep it out there.
No resumes? No?
And then towards the end of next week, the 19th and the 20th, we'll be back in this room for budget retreat, beginning at 9 a.m.
Correct.
And Mayor, when will we get our next update on the South Carolina Legislature's budget progress this year? 2.0 of the House budget should come out at the end of the month.
We'll touch base with Scott Talley and see.
Great.
I'll touch base
We'll
with
get
them.
an
I
update.
plan to touch
They
base
are
with them later
working
this
in
week.
Columbia.
Great.
I did have one quick question. I know in the past, it probably has been several years ago, with our boards and commissions, don't we have an attendance policy, or did we ever put anything in place?
We have an attendance
There
policy.
is an attendance policy.
Okay. So if we have an issue on one of our boards, we need to be bringing it up, right?
ma'am.
Okay. We do happen to have a little bit of a problem on the beach advisory board with that.
With attendance.
Yeah, it was brought to my attention yesterday, talking to someone, so.
And Mayor, to that end, do we have any, I think we in the past have actually retired a board or committee before, I don't know, due to inactivity or lack of efficacy of performance. Do we have policy and procedure to do that, should that rear its head?
I think council can do that with 2 readings. The boards and committees that aren't the state-approved boards and committees exist in our city code, and council can choose to deactivate a board or committee. Not one of the state ones, but one of the local ones.
Yeah, we did, we did a code cleanup about a year ago.
And it was about 3 years ago. We disbanded about 5 that were inactive.
So based on Ms. Hatley's comment, it sounds as if we need to encourage the chairs of our boards and commissions to submit any concerns they have of absentee members for us to make changes.
I think they're having a problem getting a quorum at times, to the point that,
I'd like to have a conversation with you
Okay.
outside of this, because I serve as the staff liaison for that committee, and there is one member who's had some medical issues recently.
okay. Well, something else was brought up also, to expand the board
I hadn't heard
by
that
2
one.
people. So I don't know, it needs to be a discussion, I guess, with,
That one's new,
okay,
but happy to talk to you outside.
okay.
Would staff like to bring back a recommendation to look at the boards and committees and see if there are any that can be
Possibly.
amended?
Yeah, we would, let's take a look at it. I think there might be some opportunity.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Mayor, the only other thing I wanted to add before we leave, I just gotta say, again, to the chief, thank you for your many years of service to the city. And also, I want to say on behalf of, I think I can say this on behalf of the BDW community, because I know that there's been a lot of meetings over the past several years when there were challenging times in the community. And I could look up and always see the chief there, even before she was chief, which speaks to her dedication and just concern for the community. And so I just want to say to her, thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you.
Great, thank you, Mike. Anybody else? All right, we do have a motion for 3 executive session items. Bear with me while I read through this. Motion to go into executive session to discuss proposed contractual arrangements with Cape Fear Development and Griffin Swinnerton concerning development of city-owned property in the Arts and Innovation District, and to discuss the location and provision of services encouraging expansion of industry or business in the Arts and Innovation District. And to invite for that discussion Mike Brown, Aubrey Parsley, Corin Crawford, Jim Hubbard, Matt Britton, Devin Parks, Ann Sowers, and Patrick Lloyd. Second motion to go into executive session to discuss proposed contractual arrangements with Iterum Consulting Group concerning development of
Mr.
city.
Mayor, I hate to interrupt you.
Sure.
Probably should have invited Meredith as well. Is that right?
I will get to the other invitees here in a moment.
Okay.
So I'm not done. Motion to go into executive session to discuss proposed contractual arrangements with Iterum Consulting Group concerning development of city-owned property in the Arts and Innovation District, and to discuss the location and provision of services encouraging expansion of industry or business in the Arts and Innovation District. And for that executive session topic, we would invite Steve Smith, Lan Fields, David Wingerson, Brandon Bogan, Eric Lucas, Devin Parks, Ann Sowers, and Patrick Lloyd. And then a third motion to go into executive session for legal advice relating to Rainmaker Holdings. And in addition to those for the specific sessions, we would also invite Fox Simons, Will Bryan, Brian Tucker, Josh Bruger, Michelle Schumpert, Marla Bell, Meredith Denary, and Amy Newt Schaefer for those. Is there a motion to go into executive session for those 3 items?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion.
We will hold that in this room?
Yes, due to the volume of people. The motion and a second. Any comments from council?
Can we take 2 minutes?
Any comments from the public? All those in favor of the motions as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We'll go into executive session. We'll give ourselves about a 5-minute break while you clear the room. How's that?